ACC football on JP Sports is brought to you by Infinity, who invites you to test drive their full line of performance and luxury automobiles. By Days Inn. Days offers great rooms, great value at over 1,000 great locations. By Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized. And by your local Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealers. In the Carolinas, the place to be is in a Chevrolet or Geo.
Here with North Carolina coach Mack Brown, your biggest concern, 17-3 behind at the half.
Well, the biggest concern is we knew we couldn't turn the ball over to have a chance to win today, and Clemson's got the #1 defense in the country. They've come out, gotten 7 points off the one turnover, probably cost us 3 to 7 on the other one. The kicking game is so critical for field position. They've gotten too much yardage in their kickoff and punt return, and it took a lot out of our team, as young as we are. So we've got to go back. We've been a second-half football team. Understand that we have to play our best football this second half to get back in this ballgame.
And for the second half, let's go back upstairs now to John and Jack. Fellas.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. And keep in mind that it is Clemson that normally plays its best football in the second half. But we have the first half stats to take a look at before we begin that second 30 minutes of play, brought to you by Schlitz Malt Liquor.
And as you can see in the total offense, North Carolina has actually outgained Clemson in the first half. But the biggest stat of all, the turnovers, 2 costly turnovers. You heard Mack Brown indicated it cost Carolina at least 10 points, perhaps 14. The difference in the ball game, you could really say 3 turnovers, because a very costly offensive pass interference penalty also negated a Carolina drive. And that basically has been the key factor in the first half, John.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. The 2 touchdowns, the 2 touchdown difference as the Clemson band gets ready for the start of the second half. On the opening drive, Ronald Williams, the freshman, 19 yards for a score that made it 7-0. And into the second quarter, it was Dexter Davis with the interception, his 6th of the year, and a 30-yard return for a touchdown. And this is exactly what we're talking about. As far as dominance is concerned in the second half, Clemson has just been tremendous. They allow very little in terms of offense for the other team in the second half. As a matter of fact, they're holding their opponents to about 80 yards a game, and they have given up only 3 touchdowns in the second half and just 1 in the fourth quarter.
3 second-half touchdowns in 57 possessions, John. That's just an incredible ratio. The key for North Carolina right here is on this first possession. Their defense has to either force a turnover or quickly get the ball back for their offense. If they allow the Clemson offense to march down the field like they did on their opening possession of the ball game, the rest of the afternoon will be excruciating for that guy, Mack Brown.
And Clemson, with Gwaltney kicking off, is expecting that high kick that you talked about in the first half. Thomas and Ryans are deep, and instead he squibs it to the 9-yard line. Good return out across the 30 near the 31, and that's where the Tigers will start the second half of play.
Deshaun Cameron did not have a good first half throwing the ball. He was just 3 of 8 for 25 yards. They got 124 yards on the ground in the first half out of their running game. It was Ronald Williams early and then Rudy Harris out of the fullback spot, who were the 2 most effective runners in the first half for the Tigers.
Hall and Williams will open at running backs. Wide receivers are Smith and Ryans, both split to the right. And here's Williams, and he's hit immediately by Austin Robbins. Number 98, Austin Robbins, a redshirt freshman from Washington, D.C. And that's one of the things we talked about for Carolina. They are very, very young. A lot of sophomores, true sophomores, redshirt freshmen, and true freshmen.
There are only 6 seniors on this football team. And so you know you go through growing pains. They went through a couple of 1-10 campaigns, and they've turned it up a notch this year, trying to turn it up higher.
They fake this time to Williams, and Cameron throws it down the middle. The catch is made at the 46-yard line by Terry Smith, the freshman. Rondell Jones made the tackle, but Smith, who's having a record-setting receiving year for freshmen, grabs another.
Well, this is the good range for Deshaun Cameron. He is effective to about 15 or 20 yards. It seems, John, that when he tries to throw deeper than that, the ball has a tendency to sail on him. He can throw the intermediate ball, however, very well.
It is first down 10 for the Tigers. They run the option, and Cameron goes down behind the line of scrimmage in the arms of Dennis Tripp. Tripp with a tackle and a loss of a yard.
Tripp, one of the few seniors that we have talked about with this Carolina team out of Farmville, North Carolina, wants to be a high school coach and social studies teacher.
And there are only 3 players on the Carolina team from South Carolina. A couple of starters on the defensive side, Jonathan Terry and Cookie Massey are from South Carolina. 2 tight ends on 2nd and 11. Cameron rolls left, throws on the move, and the catch is made. In the Carolina territory, it's Doug Thomas coming back to make the catch, and right there to make the tackle was Cliff Baskerville.
Doug Thomas, senior out of Hamlet, North Carolina, driving off the defender and then running a little turnout route. The rollout action by Cameron, pretty good timing on the play, and the tackle by Cliff Baskerville. 3rd down and about 4.
Clemson's first possession of the second half. Inside 13 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Dropped by the tight end, Stacy Fields. He had a 1st down and about a 10-yard cushion.
Stacy forgot the most important thing. Catch the ball before you run. Watch his head turn.
That one clanged off his body. Hit his hand, his shoulder pad, and then the grass.
That's a break for Carolina. Let's see if the Heels can capitalize. Although I would guess Gardaki's going to back them up deep in their own territory.
Beautiful, beautiful kick. And it spins into the end zone just across that goal line. It will come back out to the 20. With 12:38 to play in the 3rd quarter, Carolina will have the ball, and we'll see the Tar Heels with the football again next week as they take on Virginia in Chapel Hill. So a chance for another look at Virginia as they meet North Carolina. Hope you'll join us on JP Sports. It all starts at 12 noon on your local ACC station. From the 20-yard line, Means and Fulkerson, the running backs. This is Means. Steps out of the tackle and picks up 6, maybe 7 yards.
I got to tell you, that's one of the more impressive 7-yard runs you're going to see in college football this year. That's because of the great speed of this Clemson defense. Looks like a good play. Now the pursuit is there, and this is all Means. He made Brewster miss. He made Bodine miss, and finally, he has run out of bounds, but not before he picked up 7 yards.
3 wide receivers on the 2nd and 3. Carolina down by 2 touchdowns. It is Means for the 1st down.
Well, the way the line judge spotted the football, John, I think he's going to be about 6 inches shy. Watch Doug
right.
Brewster, number 92, stop the play right there. That's a lot of strength for a guy who weighs just 205 pounds at middle linebacker.
2nd and short. Excuse me, 3rd and short. 11.5 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Diving forward is Fulkerson, the fullback.
Brewster was there again.
He got enough this time for the 1st down. It'll be at the 31-yard line, and Brewster, boy, you go back to the beginning of the year, Jack, when we first saw the Tigers play, and we talked about Johnson, McDaniel, Brewster, and Kirkland. They have not disappointed at all. 1st and 10 from the 31. Burnett is sacked by McLaughlin and Kirkland. McLaughlin with his 2nd sack of the afternoon, and down goes Burnett, and he stays down at the 25-yard line.
Well, I said it in the 1st half. Chester McLaughlin is playing his best game. Oh, right there at the end of the play. Levon Kirkland and Todd Burnett, helmet on helmet. And Burnett was the loser on the play. McLaughlin involved in his 2nd sack of the afternoon. And Todd Burnett, I think, is trying to get his eyes to refocus right now. McLaughlin just steps right around Brian Bollinger. And now watch right there. Boom. See his head bang back when Kirkland hit him? Watch the right side of your screen. His head went down and then popped right back out. That's a pretty good pop up in the head and shoulder area. I think it was more that he had, as they used to say, John, his bell rung.
It's probably still sounding an alarm in his helmet right now. He comes off. Todd Burnett leaves, and Chucky Burnett comes on. Chucky, the sophomore from Burlington, North Carolina. There are the numbers for the day for Todd, and he'll hope that he can clear it out a bit and return. In the meantime, Chucky Burnett comes on. Yock and Holiday are split to the right. There is Chucky Burnett. Made 4 starts a year ago. Comes on here on 2nd and 15 and fires the ball incomplete for running back Natrone Means.
Chucky's problem a year ago was just that, John. He had a tendency to overthrow people. He had outstanding numbers in high school, threw for nearly 6,500 yards as a high school All-American at Cummings High School in Burlington, North Carolina, but struggled a year ago. Has not thrown the ball. That was only his 6th attempt of the year. He's had some injury problems this year, but he has been impressive in practice of late. Gets an opportunity here.
Looking at 3rd and long yardage. There is movement right in the middle. Vance Hammond didn't want to do it, but he did.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't.
Understand that Jeff Flesh will not return. We saw him leave. He was kicked in the stomach earlier. There is the call. You know, you talk about Chucky Burnett. He was so good in high school, Jack. They retired his number 11.
He was an outstanding talent in high school. 52 touchdown passes he threw in high school. They're checking the equilibrium right now of Todd Burnett.
And it's a little shaky. So Chucky Burnett is on. His high school teams went 15-0, 11-1, and 12-2 under his leadership. 3rd down, about 9. And the pass is incomplete. Natrone Means again, the same mistake we saw earlier, Jack. He started to turn it upfield without the ball.
Well, those were those retreating arms here. Watch his hands pull into the body. And he turns that body before he caught the ball because he felt the presence of Eddie McDaniel.
Davis and Henderson will be deep. Excuse it. It's O'Neal and Henderson deep. At the 39-yard line, O'Neal. Short of midfield. He is pushed out of bounds by Mike Hopkins. 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Still Clemson by 2 touchdowns. We are back, and the Tigers are in action. Williams is straightened up. Finally fights his way back to very close to the line of scrimmage. He was straightened up by Timmons. Let's go down below for an update on the quarterback of the Tar Heels. Here's Bob Juback.
Well, John, Todd Burnett's equilibrium is a little bit bad now. He says he can go in. The doctors don't know when he will be able to return, if he will be able to return. But he's having a problem standing on one leg and doing the little routine checks they do. So maybe this offensive series for Clemson will give him time to come back.
Gain of 2 on that first play, and Sean Cameron is run out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Kurt Brown forced him out.
Here's Todd Burnett trying to get things to settle down again. I know the feeling. Every time I see a guy get his bell rung, I remember it well, and it is not a pleasant experience.
It is not, because you kind of feel helpless, Jack, because you're really not sure where you are.
Well, I lost 2 quarters of a football game that I never will remember, so I know that feeling.
3rd and 8. Play action. That pass is caught very close to a first down by the tight end Stacy Fields. Cookie Massey was right there defensively, and it would appear they've stopped him short of the first.
4th and short. Let's see what Kenny Hatfield wants to do. Look at this. He misses the routine catch on the previous series and makes a nice catch in traffic there.
It'll be 4th down and about a yard to go.
And they're going to go for it. I was not surprised at all by this decision from Ken Hatfield.
Ken Hatfield and the Tigers love to play at home. They are 4-0 and have given up only 13 points, and that's updated through today. They also love to play on grass. 7-0 on grass this year. Harris for the first down. They had a trio of fullbacks with Caputo and Hall in there.
It's going to be close, John. He staggered a little. Looked like he lost his footing. It's going to be a close measurement.
Jones and Brown double-teamed him defensively for Carolina.
Well, they're not even going to bring the sticks over. Dale Phillips says he's got it. I tell you what.
You would ask
Now
for a
they're going to
measurement,
bring
yes.
it. Yeah, I sure would ask for a measurement.
Absolutely. I think it's very close. As a matter of fact, it looks to me back like it's right on the marker.
Yeah, now they are going to bring. Dale Phillips called for the first down. Watch right here. Harris steps on the right foot of Eric Harmon and fell because of it. And I think Dale Phillips got caught up in automatically signaling the first down. Now, I don't know if it'll be a first down or not.
I think he's got it.
He probably has it, but by less than half the football.
We're inside 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter on a gorgeous day in Clemson, South Carolina. Temperature at kickoff was 72 degrees. He does have it, but just barely. And a good decision by the coaching staff of Carolina to make sure.
Well,
You don't want to give anything away.
we've not had much in the way of difficulties with the officials. I think the officials have done a very good job in the ACC this year, but in a year in football at the college and professional level where the officials have been scrutinized, you don't want to give anything away, take it for granted.
Good lock in motion. Williams takes a hit and fights on down to about the 38-yard line. Williams for 3. He was straightened up by Bernard Timmons.
Yardage has been tough to come by since that early scamper for the touchdown in the first quarter for Ronald Williams.
That was a 19-yarder, and he had 43 yards rushing in the first half. His goal, and he knew exactly coming into the game that he needed 266 yards to hit 1,000. What he wants to do as a freshman. Inside 9 minutes now remaining, third quarter. Option play. Cameron steps forward to inside the 40 to 39. He goes down. Jonathan Perry on the hit. The ball will be spotted at the 24, and we're in Clemson, South Carolina on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Along with Jack Corrigan and Bob Juback, I'm John Sanders. 17-3, a 2-touchdown lead for Clemson as we work our way to the midpoint of quarter number 3. At the 34, third down. First down as Cameron gets to the 30. Roy Barker made the hit.
Deshaun Cameron just stepped right around Bernard Timmons, and that got the Tigers their first down. Elsewhere in college football, NC State with the advantage on Virginia Tech in Blacksburg in the second quarter, and Duke on top of the Demon Deacons at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham.
Here the ball is at the 30-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. Fullback is Hall. Tailback is Williams. Deshaun Cameron's gone all the way at quarterback. Again on the option. 20-yard line. 15-yard line. A first down again for the Tigers. It took Massey and Jones in that defensive secondary to put him down, and he's going to stay down momentarily.
He landed on the football, John, and that'll take your breath away. And he's going to take a little breather here. This time 53 and 40. The linebackers Hollier and Thigpen ran into each other. That enabled him to get more yardage. Good hit first by Cookie Massey right here, and then boom, he lands right on the football as he went down in front of Rondell Jones. It brings Richard Moncrief in at quarterback.
2 tight ends. This time they go to Harris. He's hit by Tommy Thigpen on first down from the 15. A gain of 2 on the play, and Richard Moncrief, a redshirt freshman from Montgomery, Alabama, looking on. Last year primarily a member of the scout team, and that is another quarterback trying to clear the head.
Well, I think this time it's more trying to catch his breath, John. I really think he landed on the football. You would talk about a shot to the midsection. That really stings and takes you a while just to feel like you can breathe normally again.
Football at the 13-yard line. It'll be second down and 8. Williams to the 11. J.R. Bolden, the nose guard, with the tackle. There's J.R., redshirt sophomore. He is from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
I wish we could show you Ronald Williams' eyes on that previous play. This play was designed to go to the left. He started left and saw number 56 Dennis Tripp there, and I'm sure his eyes were saying, uh-oh, not that way, and tried to cut it back right and got a couple of yards.
It'll be 3rd down and about 6. Ryans checks into that huddle. They're still using 2 tight ends. Ryans is the only wide receiver. Fields and Samnick are the tight ends. Misdirection play, and here comes Moncrief at the 10, the 5. He's up in it and down at the 4-yard line. Cookie Massey made the hit. It will be 1st and goal for the Tigers.
1st and goal with a couple of more because Cliff Baskerville called for a late hit at the end of the play. After Moncrief was down, Baskerville popped him as well. That will move the ball from the 3 or 4-yard line down inside the 2.
We have a dead ball, personal foul against the defense. It's half the distance. 1st down.
Moncrief has 4.5 speed. He showed it right there, and right there is the extracurricular pop.
So the football will be placed at the 2. 1st and goal for the Tigers as they try to open up a 3-touchdown lead 2/3 of the way through quarter number 3. They're staying with the 2 tight ends as Mike Samnick comes back on. Samnick, who missed much of '89 with a pinched nerve in his neck. He's the tight end. Ryans is the lone wide out, and a hit right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there for Harris. He is tackled immediately as he gets into the line. Harris was drilled quickly on the play. Samakis and Bolden. Excuse me, it is Bolden who was there. J.R. Bolden. Let's go down to Bob Juback. Let's get another injury update. Bob, what do you got?
Well, the story on Deshaun Cameron is positive for Clemson. Just got the wind knocked out of him. He'll be back as soon as he can.
At the 2, 2nd and goal. Williams looking for his 2nd TD, and he will not get there because Dennis Tripp was on the spot. Tripp nailed him. No gain. 3rd down.
Now, North Carolina knows they absolutely cannot allow another touchdown, or it is beyond reach, and Dennis Tripp, with good lateral movement down the line of scrimmage, makes the stop on the play. Jonathan Perry tied up the lead blocker, and Tripp was right there with a big play for the Carolina defense. Ball still resting at the 2, but the clock starts to become a factor too, John. Under 4:45 to play in the 3rd quarter.
This is what Carolina did so well a couple weeks ago against Georgia Tech. Nothing at all. 3 straight times into the line, and 3 straight times Carolina had the answer. Dwight Collier that time. Eric Gash as well, and they celebrate the fact that they have stuffed them on 3 straight plays right at the 2-yard line.
And they bring Chris Gardocki on to try the field goal. The fans don't like it. But the reason for the field goal try, John, it makes it more than a 2-touchdown, 2-point conversion situation.
This will be a 20-yard attempt. Basically an extra point from a little bit of an angle. Gardocki trying to open the 3rd quarter scoring.
It's a fake.
The fake, and Hall does not get in. Howard Hall took the ball on the fake, and Carolina had the answer. They hold and take over in the shadow of their own goal line. Carolina with a big answer. There is the forward pitch to Hall. He is stopped, and down he goes. So Carolina will take over.
But the Tiger fans give a standing ovation to Clemson for gambling on 4th down. They enjoyed Kenny Hatfield trying for it. I don't know, though. I mean, I realize they're 99 yards away from a score, but you still leave a crack of that door open for North Carolina.
Still a 2-touchdown difference. That football is a full 99 yards from the goal line.
Chucky Burnett still in at quarterback.
To the 5-yard line. Antoine Williams. Excuse me. That's yes, it's Antoine Williams, number 23. There are 2 23s for Carolina. The other is a kicker trip Vignetti, and this is Antoine Williams, number 23. It'll be second down and 6.
Carolina has to get at least 1 first down.
Slipping and going down at the 7 is Natrone Means, and McLaughlin was there defensively.
Chucky Burnett trying to rally the troops. He came on last series when this guy, Todd Burnett, became a Clemson sandwich between Chester McLaughlin and Levon Kirkland.
A little bit of a delay in bringing the play in from the sideline.
Already down to 10 seconds on the huddle clock. Burnett will not really have any time to check off at the line of scrimmage.
Williams is the fullback. Means down at the 6. He was tripped up by Hammond. Vance Hammond tripped him up. So he tried to high-step his way for that first down, so the Tigers will get it back.
And Kenny Hatfield knew he could gamble on the 4th down fake field goal, John, because he's got the #1 defense in the country. They lived up to their billing once again.
O'Neal. This is Jerome Henderson at the 47. Tries to get outside. Still on his feet. A flag goes down as he moves to the 37-yard line. Henderson was tackled on the play by Rick Steinbacher. Let's check out the flag, which may push the football back into the Clemson side of the field.
And we've got an injured player, Ashley Shepard, down on the far side of the field for Clemson as well. Now, 2 penalties, and they'll take the one in the back.
Well, we will clear it all up as soon as we take a quick break. With 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. Still a 2-touchdown lead for the Tigers over the Tar Heels. Now a word from your local ACC station. It was a clipping call on the kick return. The ball goes back to the 40, and with a 14-point lead, a new formation as they have 2 tailbacks basically. Williams and Witherspoon in there. Play action fake, 3 wide receivers. They go right down the middle, and the ball is intercepted by Massey.
Have a flag down at the 36-yard line, which will probably be a holding call against Clemson.
It was intended for Derek Witherspoon out of the backfield as he broke down the middle, and the ball was intercepted by Massey. First turnover by the Tigers.
Well, North Carolina, with a plus 15 in the turnover department, comes up with its first turnover of the afternoon as Deshaun Cameron, trying to go deep, throws it right into coverage. Cookie Massey with the interception, his 4th of the year. 17-3 Clemson, time running down in the 3rd period.
Another injured player for Clemson. It is Derek Witherspoon, who was on the field and the intended receiver on that last pass play. He is helped off, and we'll get an update on that injury and the others who are ailing from Bob Juback as we go along. Chucky Burnett continues to fill in for Todd Burnett. Fulkerson is the fullback. The tailback is Means. Reese and Yock split wide right. Burnett sets, fires out to the right, and a catch is made by Reese. Gets away from the first tackler, picks up an extra yard as he goes to the 46.
And a little extra pain, too. Did a nice job of getting away from Dexter Davis, and as a result, he ran into John Johnson and Chuck O'Brien. Julius Reese, good-looking wide receiver who should be outstanding before he is done at North Carolina. He got another one of those Clemson sandwiches.
Picked up 8 on the play. Nothing there at all for Malcolm Marshall. His first carry of the day, and let's go down to Bob Juback again.
Derek Witherspoon, you see this right knee is being worked on the sidelines. He is the freshman running back out of Sumter, South Carolina. Also earlier in the first half, offensive guard Jeb Flesh was hit in the stomach. He was taken at halftime to a local hospital for precautionary x-rays. But again, looking at Derek Witherspoon, his right knee or ankle seems to be hurting him.
Reese and Yocker split to the right. Means checks back in and tailback behind Fulkerson. This is Natrone Means trying to cut it back, lost the football. The Tigers have it. Rob Bodine on the hit. We'll see who gets the football. He knows that his team has it.
3rd turnover of the afternoon by the North Carolina offense. Means was not going to get the first down anyway. Good tackle by Bodine. The question whether he was down, and apparently was not. Jerome Henderson came away with the football.
The ball is spotted at the 49-yard line, so they get it right back. 1st and 10. Option play. Williams. It's about 5 yards before he is down. That's Tommy Thigpen, number 40, the last man up.
Clemson won't have to run another play here in the 3rd quarter if they don't want to, and they continue that marvelous streak of denying points here at Death Valley and overall in the 2nd half this year.
Still a 2-touchdown lead for the Tigers. We're going to the 4th quarter in Clemson. We are back once again where they are enjoying a 2-touchdown lead and whooping it up in Death Valley. The Tigers looking for the victory and looking to go 8-2 on the season, with only the Gamecocks of South Carolina who will be in town 2 weeks from now. Thomas and Ryan split left. This is 2nd down and 7 from the 46-yard line. Williams again fights off tacklers at the line of scrimmage. But he'll get only about 2, maybe 3 yards for his efforts before Baskerville forces him out of bounds.
Did a great job of bouncing off a tackle, but never had the opportunity to get vertical, to get upfield, because Dennis Tripp was chasing him along and denied him that chance to get upfield.
Brings up a 3rd down and 4. Football is spotted at the 43-yard line.
8 and 3
mentioned Ronald Williams' goal of 1,000 yards. He's either going to have a big 4th quarter today and a big game against South Carolina if he's going to do that.
You're right, a very big game. Cameron looks, throws. The catch is made by the tight end, Stacy Fields. He's tackled out of bounds by Eric Gash as he got inside the 35 near the 34-yard line.
Well, we have seen that in our earlier Clemson telecast. You give away something with your defense in terms of preparing for this Clemson offense. Usually you give away the tight end. They have gone to Stacy Moore this year. That's his 12th catch of the season for Fields. Probably should have had 13. He dropped an easy one earlier in the ball game.
1st down and 10 from the 34. Down to the 30 for a gain of 4 is the freshman Ronald Williams.
You line up behind big Eric Harmon and All-American candidate Stacy Long and push yourself along. Watch Stacy Long right there, number 67 against Dennis Tripp. Good surge off the ball, wheeling the hips. That's what they talk about with linemen, John, the ability to make the contact and then fire those hips underneath to gain the leverage against that defensive man and drive him off the ball.
Williams now with 60 yards rushing on the afternoon. Smith and Ryans are the wide receivers. Cameron turns it up on the option, slides down for a 1st down near the 23-yard line. Collier and Jones for the tackle defensively for Carolina, but the Tigers continue to move. A gain of 8. The ball will be spotted at the 22. Thomas brings the play in for Clemson. We're in the final 15 minutes of play here in Death Valley. The Tigers are trying to win for the 5th straight time against Carolina. It's been almost a decade now, and it will be basically a decade since Carolina has won. Williams on the carry. Very short yardage, maybe 1 on the play. Again, Collier made the tackle.
Now this is just to grind up the clock situation now for Clemson. Scores elsewhere. Notre Dame, after being tied for a while, burying Navy. Syracuse rolling on Boston College. And Michigan now in control after a slow start against Purdue.
Wake-up calls have been delivered, obviously. Cameron's pass is caught by the tight end. Stacy Fields with another catch. Right there was Rondell Jones, but Fields did a good job as he moves the ball down to the 17-yard line.
He's running that crossing route. You've got Fields lined up as a tight end on the right side, and he runs underneath the defense. That was a good catch by Stacy Fields, 2-time academic All-ACC, Gervais academic scholar here at Clemson in industrial engineering.
Third and about 4 for the Tigers.
Oh,
Williams down by Gash. Ronald Williams, before he could take a step, he got the ball, and Gash got him.
Gash on the blitz and caught Samnick choosing between two people. He chose the wrong guy, and Gash came in clean, and the junior makes the big hit.
Should be about a 28-yard field goal. Excuse me, 38-yard field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 28, and Gardocki with a kick. It is up, it is long enough, and it is good. So Chris Gardocki knocks another one through with 11:56 remaining third quarter. He adds to the Tigers' lead. It's now 20-3, Clemson leading North Carolina.
Good play here by Jimmy McLeese, the holder as well. He had to do a similar move on one of the extra points for Gardocki this afternoon, John, where the snap was a little low, but he handled it nicely and gave Gardocki a good spot for Chris to hammer it home. Watch it again. Watch McLeese reach down, make that snap, and Mr. Gardocki does the rest.
So Gardocki with another field goal. He has 2. Williams has a touchdown. Davis has a touchdown. McLeese doing his job as well. The Tigers have opened up the lead a bit. We're going to take a break right now for a word from the ACC.
Being physically fit is important to success on the field, but it's only half the battle. You need to be mentally tough as well. So make the smart choice. Exercise your mind as well as your body. Stay in school. Use your public library and read.
And the kickoff handled by Blunt as we return. He gets it back to the 20. He's spilled as he crosses the 25-yard line. Down on the kick team was Ashley Shepard to make another defensive play for the Tigers, who now lead it by 17. It's 20-3, and Jack, 20 is kind of a magic number for Clemson. If they get to 20, they're tough to beat.
You're in trouble. Well, when you've got a defense that's giving up only 4 points a half in the second half and only 10 points a ball game on the year, third best scoring defense in the country, makes his job, Chucky Burnett's, a lot more difficult.
He's been on since Todd Burnett went down with the injury. Following the hit by Kirkland and jumping offside the Tigers, Davis moved quickly.
Well, Brian Bollinger, the left guard, moved even more quickly, and I think he might have drawn Davis offside. Indeed, Brian Bollinger, the guilty party. Yep. I think they were going to throw the ball, too. He was sliding into that pass blocking mode.
Well, when you're going against the people they have down, like McLaughlin, Bodine, Hammond, you want to get into that position as quickly as possible.
That's right.
From the 20, it'll be 1st and 15. Yock and Holiday split right. Burnett rolls, throws. Yock makes the catch. He's hit as he nears the 28-yard line by Robert O'Neill.
Well, Mac Brown knew his football team would have to play a near-perfect game, near-perfect, especially in terms of avoiding the turnovers if they were going to knock off 18th-ranked Clemson. And 3 turnovers in the football game, 2 in the first half, 1 that was returned for a touchdown by Dexter Davis, and the fumble that stopped a field goal or touchdown attempt by Carolina. Those were the 2 key plays in the game.
Second down play for Carolina. Burnett looking long, and he overthrows Natrone Means.
Actually didn't overthrow him by much, but Natrone lost sight of the ball as Jerome Henderson came over to offer help from his safety spot. Burnett dropping back, Means coming out of the backfield, running a fly route, and Burnett throws a pretty good ball here. But see Henderson breaking on the ball, and that disrupted the vision of Means. Chucky thought he had a chance there, tried to get a little body English, and said, not quite.
Actually, Natrone was screened just a bit on that play, as Jack said, and a nice leaping catch by the redshirt freshman Corey Holiday. Holiday moves the ball out for a first down for Carolina.
He was wide open, and he bails out Chucky Burnett here because Burnett airmails this ball about 9 or 10 feet in the air, and Corey Holliday jumped like he was one of Dean Smith's basketball Tar Heels to come down with that one.
The thing Corey Holliday did during the offseason was add some weight. Put on about 20 pounds. And a first down at the 37-yard line. Burnett. The pass thrown short out to the 43, a gain of 6 to Randall Felton. Robert O'Neill made the tackle. Felton a great year last year, Jack, when he caught 37. He hasn't had the same playing time or success this year.
Well, they had an ankle problem at the beginning of the year, and quite frankly, Randall was the right guy at the right time last year. With injuries to Reese and Holliday, Felton got the chance to play, Bucky Brooks as well, but he might not have quite as much in the skill department as Holliday and Reese.
Burnett rolls, looks, wide open and off the fingertips of Holliday, and Jack, there was nobody within 15 yards of him.
Well, we saw this with Chucky Burnett a little bit last year. He has a tendency to throw off the back foot and have the nose sail. See how the nose is in the air and that ball is sailing, and it just sails away from Holliday. He was also fighting the sun a little bit. But here's the situation. Chucky had time to plant his feet and throw a better ball. Look at this ball sail. There's not much wind. That's just a mechanical failure.
And there was no help from the safeties. Arlington Nunn was nowhere to be found. But it's still an incomplete pass. Less than 10 minutes to play in the game. Batted down. Incomplete. Ashley Shepard went up high and just rammed it right back in the face of Chucky Burnett.
Now the growing pains continue for this North Carolina team. See Chucky Burnett mad at himself for probably the last 2 passes.
So on 4th down, McAllister's 7th punt. Henderson is deep, end over end. Fair catch made near the 22-yard line. We're in the 4th quarter. Clemson leads by 17. The Tigers trying to win again at home and go 5-0. We have 9:43 remaining in the game. Clemson leading 20-3. They've gone to some second-line players. Goodlock and Spector the wide receivers. Moncrief is the quarterback. Blunt the tailback, and Harris the fullback. Those are the changes. Harris steps his way across the 25, tackled by Bernard Timmons.
The components may change, but the approach remains the same.
Picked up about 5 yards on the play, make it 2nd down and 5, and the Tigers will be very happy to eat up some of that clock and continue the trend, the streak, Jack. They've not given up a touchdown at home by their defensive unit this year. We have some other results to show you as we go along this afternoon. This is a 2nd and 5. Almost went down after a gain of about 2.
Virginia already up on the board at Charlottesville against Georgia Tech with about 7 minutes gone in the first period. And look at number 12 Florida State burying the Gamecocks, who will be here in 2 weeks.
And that Gamecock defense, Jack, the last 3 weeks has turned into a sieve, hasn't it?
I'm sure there has to be some injuries there in Columbia to have that kind of defensive collapse.
The first down is recorded. I always had that problem myself. Turn it the right direction.
Come on, Mom.
20-3. The Tigers lead. The ball is at the 33. Harris again. He's got 2, and from behind he gets a push. Timmons hit him first, and the surge took him out to near the 38-yard line. So it'll be a gain of almost 5 on the play.
While there is certainly disappointment down here in Clemson in the fact that for the 2nd straight year, the Tigers in all likelihood will not have a piece of the ACC Conference Championship, but on their way to 8-2 and with a shot at 9-2, I think Ken Hatfield has done a very fine job in his first year here. Transition years are very difficult, and he has gotten this team to maintain its level of outstanding, consistent play.
2nd down play coming up. Blunt dives across the 40 to maybe the 41-yard line. He'll still be a little short of the first. Dwight Hollier trips him up. let's go now and see if we can locate Bob Juback, who continues to roam around Memorial Stadium. Bob?
Well, right now, John, we're in the press box here at Clemson, Death Valley, and we're with the legend at Clemson. That is, of course, Coach Frank Howard, who 50 years ago coached his first Clemson football game. Coach, you've seen a lot of coaches come and go. What about the transition with Coach Ken Hatfield?
Well, Hatfield doing a good job here. You know, what people don't understand is that he's got a lot of new boys playing. Most all his backs are new and his flankers are new, and the rest of them got a lot of experience, but he's doing all right.
Clemson has the football right now on offense, but is this the best Clemson defense you've ever seen?
Well, the defense is pretty good, and it better be good, because that offense ain't much.
What do you suggest they do?
Well, let's that place kicker kick more. That's the best offense they got, it looks like.
Well, Coach, I think we'll send that message to Coach Ken Hatfield. It's a first down for Clemson on the measurement. One other thing, Coach, you're called the legend here. How do you like that title?
Well, frankly, I don't like it. I don't know what to think about it, tell you the truth. I hadn't done anything. Anything a coach ever does is the boys. If you don't have good boys, you're not a very good coach. And if you got good boys, anybody can coach you and win just about. And that's why our defense is so good. They got real good defensive boys over there.
All right, Coach Frank Howard likes the defense, but doesn't like a whole lot else here in the press box. Let's go back to John and Jack.
Bob, thank you very much. I tell you what, you get to be a legend. You can say anything you want to, right, Jack?
Oh, I love Coach Howard. I think he is one of the reasons why college football in general has grown through the years to be so popular, and particularly down here in South Carolina and in Clemson territory. He is a great credit to all the good things about college football.
Second and about 1.5 yards. The ball on the North Carolina side of the field. Oh, good hit that time on Blunt by Thigpen. You saw Tommy Thigpen straighten up Rodney Blunt just as he got to the line of scrimmage, and there's no gain.
Speaking of good things and some accolades to pass out, John, I know all of us want to congratulate John Swofford, who is the athletic director at the University of North Carolina. North Carolinians know that there has been a sizable 5% budget cutback in the state money allocated to the University of North Carolina for all the academic programs this year. And John has donated over the next 5 years $1 million in athletic department revenues for postseason activities to help fund the general fund at the university. And I think that is an outstanding gesture. I think it verifies again at Carolina and other places that there is a direct correlation and a strong relationship between academics and athletics. They go hand in hand. Mac Brown is certainly stressing that with his program, academics as well as athletics. And John is to be congratulated for that move.
You are absolutely right. That money, by the way, will come from postseason revenue from basketball, and certainly as they look down the line, Jack, they hope football as well. So a return investment, if you will, by the athletic department to the general fund of the University of North Carolina.
Like we had Mike Samnick, the tight end, a little anxious on the left side.
That is exactly the call, and it comes with just over 5 minutes remaining in the game. 6 home games for Ken Hatfield in his first season here after some tremendous success at Arkansas and Air Force. And if you were with us at the very beginning of the ball game, I did try to pin him down as to how good his defense is, but Jack, he wouldn't bite on that.
Well, coaches know better than that. You don't make any comment like that till the season is over.
1st and 15. Diving down to the 45-yard line is Rodney Blunt. He was tripped up by Dwight Hollier.
In the business, John, those are known as bulletin board quotes. You say something like that before a season is over, it's going to go on the bulletin board in the locker room of your next opponent, and it'll be hammered home. The difference in this football game right there in the second half, North Carolina has been stymied on offense, and Clemson, while not scoring a lot of points, has chewed away on that clock.
Less than 4.5 remaining in the game. Goodlock is the motion man. Squeezing for a yard, maybe more, is Rodney Blunt, the tailback. There was not much there. You know, Jack, we hit on it right after we did our halftime stats that the second half all year long, road and home, and even more especially at home, has belonged to the Tigers, and their strength is showing here. They have simply worn down the Tar Heels.
Well, even in the game they lost at Atlanta, they ran 58 plays on offense in that second half against Georgia Tech and came up the 2 points shy, but they really have dominated second halves of every game with the possible exception of the Virginia game.
It may be break time, but they still had well over 75,000 fans here. It was intended for Terry Smith. It is incomplete. Carolina will try to put it back together because they have a lot of work to do to get ready for the team that has the early lead over Tech. Top-ranked Cavaliers of Virginia will be in Chapel Hill, and that should be very interesting to see what happens.
Even though this is going to be loss number 3 for North Carolina, I think we have seen, John, why that defense has played so well this year. They have given 20 points to Clemson this afternoon. Actually, only 13 have come against the defense. The one touchdown was the Dexter Davis interception. And they have allowed yards, but they have been tough when it is counted against this defense. They only gave up 13 points against Georgia Tech. They've allowed only 13 offensive points from Clemson. They'll make Sean Moore and Herman Moore and Terry Kirby and the rest work for it next week at Kenan Stadium. I'm looking forward to that one.
Chris Gardocki looking forward to punt number 6, and he's averaging just under 50. Randall Felton will be deep. There's a flag deep downfield.
Well, they called delay of game. A 25-second clock expired.
Well, that will push it back to near the 50. Well, so obviously Chris wanted to make sure he keeps his average right around 50.
Well, Carolina declined it and said, no,
well,
we're going to make you punt. They figured, we're going to make you have to pooch the ball a little bit instead of trying to nail it all the way.
Tries to hang it high. There's the fair catch. This has got a chance to take a good bounce. Now let's see where they spot it. It goes out of bounds near the 5-yard line. We'll be back with more. Let's pause now for a word from your local ACC station. From Clemson, South Carolina, ACC football is brought to you in part by Sovereign Bank. Ask about a Sovereign Select account. We are agonizing over our MVPs, at least on one side of the football, but we'll have that for you coming up a little bit later. Yeah, that'd be a good choice. Ball at the 5-yard. This is only the 9th play of the 4th quarter for Carolina. Clemson has run 21. It is loose, and Chucky Burnett covers it back at the 2. Well, Carolina deep in a hole now, and they get a little bit deeper.
Chucky Burnett trying to run a play-action fake, and actually he bumped his fullback Fulkerson as he tried to fake the ball to Means, and that's what made the ball pop loose.
As Jack has mentioned a couple of times, for a young Carolina team in the middle of a resurging season, this is another very difficult lesson, but it's all part of the growing process. Fulkerson, the fullback, fights for about a yard.
Part of the growing process, but it doesn't make it any easier, John. I think now in Mack Brown's 3rd season at Chapel Hill, you're happy to see the progress, but losses are still losses. They eat away at you.
You can see that on the faces of the players on the sidelines.
And I really believe the Carolina players, as they should have, came into this ball game feeling like they could win this afternoon.
Well, they were definitely on a high, playing their best football game of the year last week in thumping Maryland. Burnett out of his end zone, throws deep down the near sideline. It's incomplete. It was intended for Holiday, but really no chance because Tony Mooney had him covered all the way and simply wouldn't let him run under the ball. 10-0. Virginia
yes,
has the lead over Tech, and they are still in the first quarter. Just less than 4 minutes remaining. Davis and Henderson will be deep, and McAllister has used up all of the end zone. No real pressure. Henderson at the 41. 35. They spin him down near the 32-yard line. Kurt Brown down on the kick coverage team made the tackle. We have less than 2 minutes remaining as Clemson goes for victory number 8 and trying to remain undefeated at home, leading by 17. We're back for the final couple of minutes of this football game. Clemson is led from its opening possession, which was capped by Ronald Williams' 19-yard touchdown run They also had an interception returned for a touchdown by Dexter Davis. And on first down, Harris keeps his balance and fights his way down to the 26-yard line. A gain of 6. Dwight Hollier made the tackle. Along with Bob Juback, and we thank Bob for filling in so very nicely down on the field for Mike Hogwood, who had another engagement this weekend, and Jack Corrigan. I'm John Sanders. It's been just a beautiful day and a gorgeous weekend down here in South Carolina. I saw an interesting thing on the way down here. I saw a car from North Carolina making its way to the stadium, had a Carolina hat in the back. One dives forward for a pickup. Jones makes the tackle. And on the back, it had Tigers #1, the North Carolina license plate, coming down to Death Valley.
I'll tell you one thing. It's a rather unique experience. We stay in Greenville, which is about 45 minutes away from Clemson when we televise one of the games down here. And the ride down the highway from Greenville to Clemson with all the Tiger tails and Clemson flags and Tigers signs and everything else that are on the cars and the people. Rather interesting. And those periodic Carolina cars that went by this morning were not greeted very warmly by the Clemson counterparts.
You take that in a couple of weeks and magnify it by about 10 when the Gamecocks are here.
Oh my. I think what you do is that you turn the lights out everywhere else in the state. Now there's a guy who is...
He's got a few Tiger paws, doesn't he?
He's not true blue, he's true orange.
Ball at the 22. It's a 1st and 10. A lot of backups in the ball game right now. Less than a minute remaining. The Tigers grinding out another victory. Harris carries for a gain of a couple. Tommy Thigpen made the tackle. This victory, by the way, a big win for the seniors of the Tigers of Clemson, because they have been able to do something and are about to do something that no other senior class in the conference has been able to do. And that's to win 40 games in 4 years.
Remarkable achievement. Winningest class here at Clemson. A week ago, they won their 500th victory in the history of football here with the Tigers.
You saw Les Hall moving on the right side of that offensive line. The 22nd coach in Clemson history, and he got a little bit of advice. Well, he got a lot of advice from a former coach here, but congratulations to Ken Hatfield. As you mentioned, the transition comes not only in bringing in a new face, what you bring with it is new football for both your offense and your defense.
And he's been forced to play a lot of young players. This will be his first chance this upcoming winter to truly recruit his people.
Trying to get outside. Does. Finally force him down near the 17. A combination of Jordan and Perry. And as we have pointed out as we go along, final 10 seconds of the game. Another victory for Coach Hatfield in his first season at Clemson. A loss for Carolina, and we will see them again next week when Virginia goes to Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels. And you see the fans streaming out onto the field to congratulate the victorious Tigers.
It's that great thrill for those youngsters to get down there on the field here, Frank Howard Field, and imagine what it would be like in years to come if they were wearing the Clemson orange and play for these Tigers. Another good victory. It might not have been the most overwhelming one, but a very solid one. Bob Ubeck is down on the field with the winning coach, Ken Hatfield.
All right, Coach Ken Hatfield with us right now, 20-3. You got to be pleased with the outcome.
I was pleased. Our defense, again, we've ridden them a lot this year, and we've done a good job. I thought they really met the challenge when North Carolina tried to move the ball early. In the second half, our defense completely shut them down. We moved the ball well and played Richard Moncrief, our second quarterback, a good bit in the second half, too. We just didn't get the ball in the end zone enough at the time, but I was pleased with the victory and very happy for our seniors that tied an ACC record. Happy for our trainer, Fred Hoover. This is 350th Clemson game as our trainer. So there's a lot of good things that happened. We're very thankful today, Bobby.
Did you play Moncrief as much as you did because of the injury that hampered Cameron a little bit, or just because you wanted to work?
Well, we wanted Richard to get in. He played well last week, and we thought he deserved to play. He certainly made a big run down to the goal line. He ducked his shoulder, and I think the more he plays, the better he's going to get. We think that's important to get him in the game. we were not as effective throwing the ball consistency-wise, and we beat ourselves a lot of penalties. But I thought our kids played hard. I thought North Carolina came in there and played hard. I thought they gained a lot, and their program has really come on. Mac's done a great job. But this was a day really for our defense to shine and Chris Gardocki to shine. And I think those two things were really the difference in the game.
Did Todd Burnett going out make a difference?
I think Todd makes a difference. Anytime you get somebody hurt like there, it certainly it takes something, a little excitement and spark out of the rest of the team, especially when you're a young team like North Carolina is. But still, our guys played hard. The big interception was a big turning point in the ball game, if anything, Bobby.
Also, 20-3 victory for you. South Carolina is getting whipped in Columbia. Does that give you added confidence in 2 weeks?
No, it really doesn't. We got a lot of people hurt, and that was one of our problems. We were playing a lot of people in there with first unit. We lost a guard. We lost some tackles. We lost some people that were beat up that we had to change a little bit for. And I'm just thankful we got an open date to try to get everybody healed up, Bob. If we do that, hopefully we'll play our finest game, and this group will be going after a new ACC record.
Where do you want to play in a bowl?
I don't know about that. I'll talk to seniors about that, and we just hope that we have an opportunity to play somebody else after the season is over, Bobby.
Well, I'm certain you will. 20-3, the final score at Clemson. Ken Hatfield, a happy coach. We'll be back at Death Valley right after this.
ACC football has been brought to you by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By the airline of ACC country, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. By the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. For insurance and financial services, better call JP. By MCI's Prime Time Plan. Real savings 24 hours a day. And by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Welcome back to Clemson, where the Tigers go to 8-2 on the year with a solid 20-3 victory over the North Carolina Tar Heels this afternoon. And it's time for our option play of the game, brought to you by Option Great Coverage for Men, the advanced way to get rid of the gray. With the score at 7-3 early in the second half, here was the big play. Dexter Davis stepping in front of Julius Reese on a pass from Todd Burnett, his 6th interception of the year. He returned it 31 yards for a touchdown, and basically that put the game away for Clemson. Dexter is down in the field with Bob Jubeck.
Thanks a lot, John. Dexter Davis is with us. The play of the game, of course, was that interception. What happened in that play, Dexter?
Well, obviously, I really couldn't tell you exactly what was going on the other side of the field, but as far as my man was concerned, I saw a dude breaking down, getting ready to get an out pattern from the quarterback, and one guy ran a curl, and I was able to break on the ball and pick the ball off and score, and that was a great point in the game.
Were you a little surprised they were throwing that deep in their own territory?
Not really, because I'm quite sure they watched the film, and we had a couple problems doing that early in the season, breaking on the out, and we worked on it for the past 2 weeks, and we were able to break on it. And I'm quite sure they thought they could get something going in the game with that, but we were able to stop that.
6 interceptions this year. You got to be awfully pleased with that.
Definitely. I wasn't coming into the season expecting to get 6 interceptions. I was just coming in to try to break the interception records that I have, you know, my personal goals and stuff like that. And I came in and got 6 interceptions. I'm looking for 7, 8, 9 now.
Also, the offense still a little bit inconsistent. Does the defense feel more and more pressure to just keep the team in there? No, not really, because we've been kind of playing together as a unit all year and trying to play as one. We go out every series with goal in our minds, go 3 and out every time, and we were able to do that today. Getting back to this ball game, Todd Burnett went out of the game. Do you think they lost a little bit of fire then? No, I thought they would come out because the running game is so powerful. I thought he was running the option very well for them, but it didn't work out very well. They still caught the ball whenever it was thrown, but the pressure coming from the outside linebackers, you know, our backers are real great, and it's hard for any quarterback to throw against them. The way the defense is playing right now, you have an off week next week before the big rivalry game with South Carolina. Do you wish you were playing next week instead? No, I don't think it matters. The defense, especially with South Carolina coming to town, the defense, you know, it's no pressure on us. We know we have to play to our best abilities. Have you heard the score from Columbia? No, I've been hearing it over for some time now. 34-3, that's what I heard. I don't know the final score, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to play very well next week. 2 weeks. All right, Dexter Davis with a fantastic ball game today for the Clemson Tigers. 20-3, the final. Clemson over North Carolina. Let's go back up top now to John and Jack.
All right, Bob, thank you very, very much. We want to salute a couple of very special players here in this football game this afternoon as we present our Schick Most Valuable Player Award. Kevin Donnelly, the outstanding senior on that offensive line for North Carolina, and Chester McLaughlin on that defensive line for Clemson. Both had outstanding games, and As part of the Schick Most Valuable Player Award Scholarship Program, Schick will donate $1,000 to the Atlantic Coast Conference to be distributed among the member institutions under a conference-approved plan. The Schick Slim Twin Disposable Razor, it reaches every place on every face. Here are some final numbers for you as we sum this one up, and you can see, Jack, what really happened in the second half. That time of possession became so lopsided, and the Tigers, who've owned the final 30 minutes all year long, did it again today.
Well, for the North Carolina Tar Heels, you see the total offense they had for the game, 195 yards. In the first half, they had 157 yards in total offense, so less than 40 yards of offense in the second half by the North Carolina offense, and you can see the time of possession totally dominant in favor of the Clemson Tigers. John, that defense all year long, they've been great, particularly in the second halves. This might have been their best second half performance of the year, if that's possible.
If that's possible. They have been outstanding at home. They love it here on the grass and in Death Valley. They're 5-0 with the Gamecocks coming up in a couple of weeks. As the coach said, they've got a couple of weeks to nurse themselves back to health, get ready for South Carolina in what is always an emotional game. We have some more interviews for you. Let's go back down to the field and Bob Juback. Bob?
Thanks a lot, John. Right now we have Rob Bodine with us, and he has played great on the defensive front all season long. You may not have heard very much about him in past seasons, but he's having an all-ACCC year, aren't you, Rob?
I don't know. It depends on what everybody else says. I just want to do my job and try to make the best defense, in the country.
Why is Rob Bodine so much better this year than you were last?
I think just mainly experience, and I've gotten a little bit stronger. I stayed here all summer and stayed in the weight room, got a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit quicker, and experience has probably been the biggest thing.
Now, you're a fella that's listed being from North Dakota. What are you doing in South Carolina?
Well, my mother's from Pickens, and I went to Pickens High School a few years, and my dad's from North Dakota, and I went to high school up there a few years, and I graduated from North Dakota, so that's where they list me from.
For those who don't know, Pickens is about 10 miles away from Clemson. Again, no touchdowns against your defense at Death Valley this year. Do you get extremely pumped up when you play at home?
Oh, yeah, that's in our mind. When they got that field goal, and we were like, well, that's only a field goal. We don't want them to score a touchdown. We were talking about that in halftime, and that's going to be a big goal next weekend against the Gamecocks, trying to keep them out of the end zone.
Seems like on most teams, the glamour players are the offensive players, but on this team, it's the defensive players and the kicker. Is that a little bit unusual, do you think?
Well, whenever you get this much talent on one defense, our linebackers are great, and Chester and Vance and all of the D linemen and defensive backs, I guess right now, I don't know if we're still number one, but we were number one going into this week, so I guess, that brings a little stardom to them.
How would you compare North Carolina's team you saw today with the team you saw last year at Chapel Hill?
Oh, they've improved greatly. We jumped on them early. The offense did a good job putting the ball in the end zone, and then second half, it's been like they've been doing all year. Offense came out and held the ball. And we didn't have to play much second half. And they've improved, and they're still real young, so next year it's going to be even tougher.
Rob Bodine, middle guard for the Clemson Tigers, 20-3 again. The final. The defense played great. Back upstairs now to John and Jack.
Seems like they always play great, don't they, Bob? They certainly did again today. And you look some of the final summary of the football game. Of course, Clemson able to make those turnovers count on the scoreboard. The problem a bit for them that they're concerned about the penalty situation. Certainly, Jack, that bothered Coach Hatfield.
Well, the 8 penalties, you never want to commit that many penalties in a football game, and when and where they took place were also a problem for Clemson. You also saw in that game summary when Todd Burnett went out of the ball game in the third quarter after being sandwiched by Chester McLaughlin and LaVon Kirkland. Chucky Burnett, not the passer that Todd Burnett is, and basically when you're down in a ball game and you got to throw the ball, you want your best passer in there. They didn't have that, but North Carolina still has to feel like their defense did the job again this afternoon, played pretty well, and then next week they don't have an easy assignment, very obviously, against that high-powered Virginia offense. But I think Mack Brown is going to tell his players that you played a very good football team on pretty even terms if you take away the turnovers. If we avoid the turnovers next week, figuring Virginia may be a little flat, a little banged up after their big game today with Georgia Tech, and maybe we can sneak an upset there.
Well, they are leading Georgia Tech at last count by a score of 13-0. 20-3 was the final here. Clemson wins its 8th of the year.
Right on.
Wow. A word now from your local station.
Number one. Go.
Now the real players have taken over. It was a quick start to the game this afternoon for Clemson. Ronald Williams going 19 yards on the first drive of the game for the Tigers. It came at 10:22 of the first quarter, and it was 7-0. Clint Waltney then hit a field goal to cut it to 7-3 before the second quarter began. Then that big interception that you saw earlier by Dexter Davis that kind of sealed it, made it 14-3. Chris Gardocki got a couple of field goals. The final is 20-3. Deshaun Cameron victorious for the 8th time in 10 games this year. He's standing by with Bob Juback. Bob?
Well, Deshaun Cameron, he's a pretty good one. He had a good game today, but Deshaun, do you think you could have played a little bit better?
Yes, I think considering the interception, I would have had a complete game. I would have considered a near perfect game. You know, not as so much. If I would have had a touchdown, then it would have been better. But I consider myself playing an okay game today. I read the option pretty good, picked up my right reads on the passing game, and moved the team down the field pretty good.
Your option reads, is that the most improved part of your game through the second part of the season?
Yes, through the beginning of the season, I made quite a few mistakes in the option game, and I went back through practice and worked on standing the route a little bit longer so I can get a clear read, and that's what I did today, and the option worked very well.
Also, you were knocked out of the game for a couple of series. You got your bell rung. Then on the first play back, you threw the interception. Was that a factor?
Well, not really. I was feeling a little bit woozy, but I won't blame that on the interception. They were just in a different coverage than they had been all day, and I just threw the ball up, and the safety came off a hash and picked it off.
How would you compare North Carolina with what you saw last year in Chapel Hill?
Well, they're a much improved team. They're still young. I say next year they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. The guys that came along a lot since last season, I think they're a pretty good football team this year.
Is it still a concern of the offensive team that you're not able to punch the ball into the end zone?
Well, that's a big concern for us right now. Once we get inside the 20, we definitely want to get the ball in the end zone, and that's what we haven't been able to do here in the past few weeks. And we've been working very hard in practice trying to get the ball in the end zone when we get inside the 20, and I just think it's just a little bit more kinks that we need to work out, and if we go back through practice and work those kinks out, then we'll be able to put the ball in the end zone.
What kind of kinks are they?
Well, a lot of missed blocking errors and things like that, but you know, that's just come from concentration. When you get tired, you begin to miss assignments, and then you have a person to come free, and, to make the tackle for a loss, and we can't have that inside the 20. That's when you got to be concentrating 100%.
After the Georgia Tech game, you were outspoken that there was confusion out there that may have led partly to the loss against the Yellow Jackets. Is some of that confusion gone?
Yes, that was due in part because of the substitution. We was running a lot of different formations, and we cut down on the formations that we've been running in the past, and we just got 2 basic formations now, and it's a lot easier to send the players in on and off the field, and that's helped out a whole lot.
20-3, the final score should be good enough for a pretty good bowl bid in another week when those come out. Let's go back upstairs now to John and Jack.
All right, thank you very much. You talked about trouble inside the 20. First drive, they didn't have any trouble inside the 20. They handed the ball to their outstanding freshman tailback, Ronald Williams. He did the best. He did the rest, 19 yards for the score.
But for Ronald on the day, it was not the kind of afternoon he anticipated. He gets 19 yards with some great blocking along the way, but ended up on the afternoon with what you would have to call an average effort. He was held to less than 3 yards a carry on the day, and you can see Natrone Means, the freshman tailback for North Carolina, was also held to less than 3 yards a carry. So the 2 freshman tailbacks that we talked about at the beginning of the telecast outside of that touchdown were not really factors. We thought the defenses would dominate. There was nothing to dispute that, and the one guy who dominated most of all, Chris Gardocki, with a couple of field goals, and he averaged nearly 48 yards a punt.
Tremendous performance by him, and another very, very outstanding performance by that Tiger defense as they again continue the string. They have not given up a touchdown at home this season. The only score was on a kick return, a kickoff return, as a matter of fact. That has been it. Other than that, a couple of field goals and a grand total in 5 games, 13 points. That means when you come to Death Valley, you're in deep trouble offensively.
You're in deep trouble. Up in Charlottesville, Georgia Tech and Virginia in the battle for first place in the ACC. Virginia was out to an early lead, and now Georgia Tech coming back in the ball game. This is Sean Jones on a scramble. Rambles all the way into the end zone to put Georgia Tech on the board. They are trailing 13-7 early in the second quarter. That should be a great football game. And speaking of Ronald Williams, who we talked about a moment ago, he's down in the field with Mr. Juback. Go ahead there.
All right, back now on the field, Ronald Williams, the freshman tailback out of 96 South Carolina. Ronald, you ran great in that first drive, but then they started stopping you, didn't they?
Well, I wouldn't say they started stopping me. It's just that we broke down in a couple of areas. And it's just a lack of mental concentration. That's all it was. We missed some key blocks, and that caused us to kind of mess up on a couple of run assignments. But I don't think it was just them out physically beating us. It wasn't that at all.
So you think the offensive line and the backs and the quarterback and the receivers, they all did a great job?
They did. They did a well of a job today. We played for money today because, you know, we won a big bowl game. That's what we were playing for.
Where do you want to go?
To me, I wouldn't mind being in the Blockbuster Bowl in Miami, but I'll take the Hall of Fame or the Citrus. It doesn't matter.
I don't know if it matters to a whole lot of the Tigers. They want to go to a pretty good ball game, and most likely in Florida. Again, 20-3. Let's go back upstairs to John and Jack.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. I think without question they're heading to a bowl game, and probably a pretty big bowl game. We'll know a lot more on that in another week or so. Meantime, we'll be back to Clemson after this. That is next week. The final score here this afternoon in South Carolina. Clemson wins its 8th of the year, 20-3 over North Carolina. We'll give you some others. NC State in the fourth quarter, a slim lead over Virginia Tech. It is Duke opening it up now on Wake Forest. They are at halftime. Meanwhile, Notre Dame bouncing back from that halftime tie for the big lead over Navy.
Penn State with a victory over West Virginia in hand in the fourth quarter, it appears. Tennessee, the Volunteers moving on to a showdown with Notre Dame. Florida State rolling up big over South Carolina at Columbia this afternoon. And Alabama with a lead on Mississippi State in the fourth quarter in Starkville.
Some other scores. Michigan in the third quarter is leading Purdue after Purdue had that early 6-3 first quarter lead. And Syracuse, a final score over Boston College, 35-6 the final there. A special thank you to all of those who have helped us here. Our executive producers, Jimmy Rayburn. Today's game produced by Steve Craddock and directed by Dave Burchett. There are a lot of future Tiger fans here, and we thank Joel Alterman, Ginger Littlejohn, and Bob McAnally for helping us upstairs. Also thanks to Bob Juback for filling in today for Mike Hogwood. And for Jack Corrigan, I'm John Sanders. It has been a very good afternoon in Clemson, South Carolina, especially for those with the Tiger Paws. Coming up next week, Virginia at North Carolina. Join us at 12 noon. We'll be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina for the Cavaliers and the Tar Heels. JP Sports personnel outfitted by Champion Products. Contribute to your favorite ACC school by renting from Budget, the official car and truck rental company of the ACC. Call Budget for details. You have been watching JP Sports' exclusive coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football.